Hey guys, Island Homesteader here. Just want to do a quick video and show you something that we do here around the house, and that is make butter. And it's really simple, and I know there's a million videos out there and articles on how to do it, but I just thought I'd show you real quick just how we do it. It's real simple. It really only takes one ingredient. I do put a couple extra ones in there, and I'll show you what those are, but all it really takes is this heavy cream, heavy whipping cream. Now here, this is just regular whipping cream. We don't get organic. I can't find organic heavy whipping cream anywhere here on the island. The closest place I found it is the grocery store about 60 miles away from here, and if I'm up there, you know, with a cooler and stuff, maybe I'll get some, but for normal basis I'm just not gonna drive 60 miles to pick up some whipping cream to make butter with. If you live in an area where you can get organic heavy whipping cream, or even better yet, raw milk, and get your own cream off of that, you know, this would be really ideal. But all it takes is heavy whipping cream and some way to agitate it enough to separate the fat molecules out of the buttermilk. Now you can do that with an old-fashioned butter churn. You can put it in a mason jar and shake it until your arm goes numb and you finally get it to separate. You can do it in a food processor. You can do it in a blender. You can do it in the KitchenAid with the whisk on it spinning up. Here's how I do it. I do it in the Ninja blender, and it's really simple. All I'm gonna do is pour the cream in the blender and pulse it until I get butter. It usually takes 45 seconds to a minute, and what I'm going to do is I'll show it to you in real time, so you can see that I'm not making it up. Then then all you got to do is after you get the butter out of the buttermilk, you got to drain the buttermilk off. You have to rinse it a couple times with cold water to make sure that you get all the buttermilk out of it, because if you leave buttermilk in it, the butter will go rancid faster. So you need to rinse all the buttermilk out of the butter. And then after that, you just need to get the water out. I usually just put it in a bowl and work it with a spatula. Just, you know, work it around, mashing it on the sides and stuff until I can finally squeeze all the water out of it. You can do it in your hands. You can put the glob of butter in your hands and just squeeze it through your fingers until you get the water out. You can put it in a coffee filter and a strainer or a colander thing and just let it sit. You can hang it in a bag. There's lots of different ways. All you got to do is just get the water out of it, and then that's butter. The only other thing I do to it is we do salt hours, and what I have found is to 1 pint of whipping cream, I do 1/4 teaspoon of this Himalayan pink sea salt. You can use whatever salt you want. I would recommend sea salt of some kind, or something besides just plain old white iodized salt. There really is nothing in that but sodium. This does have minerals in it, and pink sea salt is actually pretty good for you because it restores a lot of micronutrients and minerals that we don't get in a lot of other foods. So I put 1/4 teaspoon of pink sea salt in my butter, and I do whip in about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'll tell you why. Because we like spreadable butter. And if you'll whip in about 3 tablespoons of olive oil, you'll still have pretty spreadable butter even after it firms up. So let me show you just exactly what we're going to do here. So just hold on. This is, again, one-handed, trying to hold a camera. Let me get this top off and get this whipping cream open, and I'll be right back. Alright, here we go. Heavy whipping cream straight out of the fridge. It helps to be cold as possible. So, cream in the Ninja, top on the Ninja. This will be loud, but I'll try to edit the audio so I can get some of this out. And then we just start pulsing. The Ninja says not to run it for more than about 30 seconds without stopping and letting it have a little rest break so that you don't overheat it. So just be advised. Now what you'll start to see is you'll start making you'll start making whipped cream inside there. You can see it's starting to get really airy. It's really fluffy right now. It's not quite to the whipped cream that you would put on a dessert yet. So we'll just keep on going. I don't know if you'll notice it or not when it's running, but it's starting to vibrate a little bit, and what's happening now is the cream is getting much thicker. You can see it in there taking on form now. So the cream this is like whipped cream stage, maybe a little past, but this is whipped cream basically is what we're doing. But what we got to do now is we got to break that whipped cream. We got to go past that. Chance to breathe. Let's take a look. You can see it's getting really thick now, creating a hole there in the middle. This is really thick whipped cream. So let's keep on going. Take a peek, see if we're starting to get any butter molecules. No, not yet. Still just really heavy whipped cream. So we'll keep on going. What you'll see is you'll start to see in the side, you'll start to actually see little yellow pieces of butter coming out of the cream. Start to hear it making a different sound. It's getting a lot of air in there now, getting a lot of air in around the blade. So we'll just keep letting it go, and we'll keep watching it. Okay, it took on a different sound. I don't know if you heard that or not, but I know what that means. You can start to see it's starting to separate. You can't see it from the top, but the cream is starting to separate now, starting to separate out the butter. Okay, I don't know if you saw that. What we're starting to get now is the cream is broken. This is what would happen if you over whipped cream. It just goes to a liquid and breaks. So now we're right at the stage that the butter, the fat, is going to start separating out of the buttermilk and making our butter for us. right at that stage. I'm starting to see it in the sides. See how it's changed? I don't know if you can tell that it's changed color. It's taken on a yellowish tint now. This is the butter fat now separating out of the buttermilk. So we're getting really, really close. It's going to be butter here in just a few more turns. So we'll put the top back on and watch it right here. Alright, let's take a look. And you have butter. Now what this is really, it's really fine because of the blade and the Ninja. You know, it's chopped it all up into little pieces, but that's the butter. So now you have butter and buttermilk. So we have to get the buttermilk out of there. So what I usually do, and I don't know if you're comfortable with this, but I usually just pour the buttermilk off. You can save that, you know, if you use buttermilk for something, you know, you can make biscuits with it or whatever. So, but you can see that was definitely cloudy buttermilk, so we'll pour that off. And then what I do is let's run that and get it cold. Make sure you want cold water. You don't want warm water. I have never done this one-handed. Put a little cold water in there on your butter. Put it back on, and now it's literally just a pulse. Okay. And what we're doing now is we're rinsing the butter. So I'm going to do this 2 or 3 more times until I get the water to pour out of here clear. So I'm not going to make you watch that because this video is getting longer than I wanted it to already. So I'll come back when I get the butter rinsed. Alright, so I did that 5 times. Fresh cold water and just a couple of really quick pulses, and the water came out clear. You can see how clear that water is there in the bowl. So now I'm obviously taking it out of the Ninja, put it in this bowl, and I'm just going to take a spatula and just fold it back on itself, and keep doing that until I can get most of the water out of it, or as much of the water out as I can. And then that's when I'll come back and show you the just adding the salt and the olive oil. Okay, here we go with as much of the water worked out of it as I can. And now I'm going to put the pink sea salt in it. Alright, there's the sea salt added. Don't know if you can see that. It's not focusing very well, but the sea salt's in it. So I'm going to mix that up a little bit, and then I'll throw 3 tablespoons of olive oil in it and whisk it. And that'll really get the olive oil incorporated, and I'll also get a little bit of air in it too, and that'll make it really nice and spreadable the next day. Okay, olive oil is in, and now it's time for a whisking. You could use whatever oil you wanted. Olive oil, you could use coconut oil, avocado oil, grapeseed oil. I mean, any of those oils. I would probably steer away from just plain old vegetable oil or corn oil, but if that's what you wanted, that's all you had, that would be fine. Just whatever you've got. So I'm going to whisk this and really incorporate this oil into the butter. And there we go. You can see the oil has been all incorporated. There's no oil puddling. It's not greasy anywhere looking. So it's going to go in this container, and it'll go in the fridge overnight. And tomorrow morning we'll have homemade butter on our homemade toasted bread, and either have homemade apple butter maybe, or homemade strawberry jam. Alright, I'll show you a little clip in the morning of how spreadable it is. And just in case somebody asks, that's 8 1/4 ounces of butter, and I teared out for the container. So 8 1/4 ounces. Remember, 3 tablespoons of that is olive oil. That is let's tear out the 233 grams of butter. Alright, so it's going in the fridge, and I'll show you what it looks like in the morning. Okay guys, real quick follow up. This is more than 24 hours since I made the butter and put it in the fridge, and you can see just how easy that is to get it out. And then you can see, you can spread that right on your bread, your toast, whatever. But whipping in that olive oil and getting some air in it too, I'm sure makes a difference. But you can see how spreadable that is. So that's what it looks like the next day, and that's what it'll look like until we finish it up. So once again guys, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks for watching. God bless.